All right, so are you ready to dive into a real mystery today?
Oh, absolutely. I love a good mystery.
Well, get this. We're talking about vinpocetine.
Vinpocetine.
It's this supplement that's supposed to, boost your brain power.
You mean like make you smarter?
Yeah, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
Like sharper thinking, better memory, all that.
Sounds a little too good to be true.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
So what do we know about this stuff? Where did it even come from?
It's actually pretty interesting. It comes from this pretty little flower called the periwinkle.
Oh, wow. Like the color.
Yeah, exactly, that periwinkle.
Yeah.
And get this, in some countries, it's been used as like a real drug for serious conditions.
Serious? Like what kind of conditions?
We're talking stroke dementia.
Oh, wow. So it must have some real effects then.
That's what you'd think, right? But then you go to other countries and it's just sitting on the shelf next to the vitamins.
Like anyone can just buy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Promising to make you a genius.
Okay, so is it a miracle drug or is it snake oil?
That's what we're here to find out. We've got a ton of research articles, reviews, clinical trials, all about vinpocetine.
Okay, so we're going to get to the bottom of this.
By the end of this, you'll know whether vinpocetine is worth your time or if it's all just hype.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, let's start with the basics.
Yeah.
Where did this vinpocetine thing even come from?
Well, like you said, it's been around for a while, at least in some parts of the world. Used mostly for these cerebrovascular disorders.
Cerebro what now?
Cerebrovascular, basically it means problems with blood flow in the brain.
Oh, okay, so like strokes and stuff.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that they'd try it for dementia too, right? Because that's often related to blood flow in the brain.
Right. So there's definitely a history of using it for some pretty serious stuff.
And there's this 2018 review article we found that suggests it might have even more benefits.
Oh, really? Like,
Okay, so they're saying it might fight inflammation, protect blood vessels from damage.
that's interesting. Inflammation is a big deal these days. Everyone's talking about it.
I know, right? And they're specifically talking about things like vascular remodeling and atherosclerosis.
Hold on, break those down for me.
Okay, so vascular remodeling, that's when the walls of your blood vessels get thicker. Unhealthy thinning.
Ah.
And then atherosclerosis, that's when plaque builds up in your arteries.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Not good.
Not good at all. But vinpocetine might help with both of those. And get this, it might even be good for your heart.
Wow. This is starting to sound like a wonder drug.
I know, right? But hold on, we gotta be careful.
Yeah, I was just thinking that early research can be exciting, but it doesn't always pan out.
Exactly. We need more than just a few promising studies.
It's like finding a clue, but you wouldn't convict someone based on just one clue, right?
Exactly. We need the whole picture. And that's where these Cochrane reviews come in.
Cochrane reviews.
They're like the gold standard for figuring out if a treatment really works.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those. They're pretty thorough, right?
Super thorough. Imagine like a team of detectives going through every single study on a treatment.
Picking apart the evidence.
It's exactly. And only giving you the most reliable stuff.
Okay, so what do these Cochrane detectives say about our friend Vinpocetine?
Well, there's one from 2008 that looked at vinpocetine for acute ischemic stroke.
Ischemic stroke. That's the one with the blood clot, right?
Yep, that's the one. And the results weren't exactly what we were hoping for.
Oh, no. What'd they find?
Basically, they said there's not enough evidence to recommend using vinpocetine for that type of stroke.
So not a slam dunk for Vinpocetine there.
Not even close. But wait, there's another Cochrane review from 2003. This one's all about cognitive impairment and dementia.
Oh, okay. So like memory problems and stuff.
Exactly. The stuff that vinpocetine is often marketed for. And this is where things get a little more interesting.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So this review found some small studies that actually showed some promise for vinpocetine.
Like it actually seemed to help?
It seemed to.
Yeah.
But there's a catch.
I bet there's a catch.
The studies were pretty small, and they didn't have a lot of long-term data.
So we don't know if the effects last?
Exactly. It's like watching the first 10 minutes of a movie and thinking, you know how it ends.
You got to see the whole thing to know for sure.
Exactly. All right, let's shift gears a bit. There's another area where they're looking at vinpocetine.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's called post-stroke cognitive dysfunction, or PSCD for short.
Post-stroke cognitive dysfunction. What's that?
It's basically when people have problems with thinking, memory, concentration after a stroke.
Oh, wow. So like on top of recovering from the stroke itself, they're dealing with all these mental challenges.
Yeah, it's a tough situation.
So are they giving vinpocetine to these people?
Well, in 2019, a group of researchers decided to do a big review of all the studies on vinpocetine and PSCD.
A meta-analysis.
Exactly. They're trying to figure out once and for all if it actually helps.
Interesting. So we'll have to keep an eye out for those results.
Oh, absolutely. But in the meantime, there's this other study that really threw us for a loop.
Another study. What happened this time?
This one was looking at vinpocetine and epilepsy. And they wanted to see if it could improve cognition in healthy people and people with epilepsy.
Makes sense. So what'd they find?
Here's the kicker. They found no significant cognitive benefits.
Oh, wow. Really? So that's it. Vinpocetine's a bust.
Well, not so fast. There's a twist.
A twist. All right, I'm hooked.
So get this, the blood levels of vinpocetine in the people in this study were much lower than in previous animal studies.
Animal studies.
Yeah, and in those animal studies, vinpocetine did show some positive effects on cognition.
So maybe the dose was too low in the human studies.
That's the big question. Do we need to give people higher doses to see the same benefits we saw in animals?
Okay, so now we're really getting into the mystery.
So is vinpocetine a miracle brain booster or just another dud? Well, it's not that simple.
Clearly, there's a lot more to this story.
There is, and we're just getting started.
It seems like with vinpocetine, we keep finding potential, but nothing definitive.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to solve this puzzle, but we're missing a few key pieces.
And that makes it tough to know if it's worth trying or not.
Right? And to make things even more complicated, there's the whole supplement thing.
Yes, supplements are a whole different ballgame.
They're not regulated the same way as drugs are.
So you don't always know what you're getting.
Exactly. The quality, the dose, the ingredients could all be different depending on the brand.
It's kind of like the Wild West out there.
I know. It's a little scary to think about, actually.
Makes you want to be extra careful about what you buy.
Absolutely. So let's say someone's listening to this and they're thinking, maybe I want to try vinpocetine. What should they do?
First and foremost, talk to their doctor.
Yeah, that's always good advice.
Your doctor can look at your individual situation, your health, your medications.
See if it's even safe for you to take it.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
they can help you weigh the risks and benefits.
It's like having a personal guide through this whole supplement maze.
Right. Because let's be honest, it's a maze out there.
So many supplements, so many claims. It's hard to know what to believe.
And your doctor can also point you towards reputable brands if you do decide to try it.
Yeah, that's important. Not all supplements are created equal.
Definitely not. But even if vinpocetine doesn't end up being the brain booster some people claim it to be.
There are still plenty of other ways to keep your brain healthy.
Oh, absolutely.
Things that we know work.
Like what?
Well, good old-fashioned stuff.
Yeah.
Exercise, a healthy diet, challenging your mind.
Getting enough sleep.
All those things that your mom probably told you.
Those are the real cornerstones of brain health.
And they're backed by tons of research.
It's like building a house. You need a solid foundation before you start decorating.
I love that analogy. So we've covered a lot about vinpocetine today.
It's been quite a journey.
We've seen that it has potential, but the research is still mixed.
And we've learned how important it is to think critically about all these health claims.
To do your research.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. So now it's time for our listeners to weigh in.
What do you think about vinpocetine?
What would make you decide to try it or not try it?
It's a tough question.
There's a lot to consider.
But we encourage you to keep learning, keep researching, and make the choice that's right for you.
We've given you the information. Now it's up to you to decide what to do with it.
That's the beauty of knowledge. You can use it to make informed decisions.
But before we wrap things up, let's add one more layer to this whole vinpocetine puzzle. What if the key to vinpocetine isn't just taking more, but taking it in a more personalized way?
Personalized? How do you mean?
Well, what if instead of everyone getting the same dose, we could tailor it to each person?
Oh, I see. Like based on their genes or their metabolism or even their medical history.
Exactly. It'd be like custom-made brain medicine.
That's a really cool idea.
It would move us away from that one-size-fits-all approach to medicine.
Towards something more precise and hopefully more effective.
With fewer side effects, too.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
And who knows, maybe that's the future of vinpocetine.
Imagine unlocking the full potential of vinpocetine for each individual.
It would be like finding the perfect key to fit each person's brain.
It's definitely an exciting area of research.
It is. But until then, we've got to stick with what we know.
Keep learning, keep asking questions.
Stay curious.
Because the world of science is always changing.
What we know about vinpocetine today could be totally different tomorrow.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to stay open-minded.
And to be willing to change our minds when new information comes along.
It's been great diving into the world of vinpocetine with you.
Yeah, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground.
From its history to its potential benefits.
And we've talked about the importance of critical thinking.
Especially when it comes to your health.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Deep Dive.
and that you feel more confident about making informed decisions.
Remember, knowledge is power.
The more you know, the better equipped you are to navigate this crazy world of health and wellness.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time, keep exploring.